Okay, we'll get started in just a minute. This is, we got 2 weeks left, right? Manifest 2021. Last week we started action. Last week we started action. We have one more week of action, and then we are going to move to the last 2 weeks for Manifest 2021. I'm just going to wait just a few more minutes. I know I have not even a few more minutes. Just give me a couple seconds. I have a couple people on YouTube, TikTok. Okay, TikTok's going. All right, so for those of you that are new, this is Manifest 2021. I have 3 cameras going. I have TikTok here, YouTube and Facebook here, and Instagram here. So if I'm not talking directly to you, that's why. Manifest 2021 is about, creating what it is that we want our life to be, a life that is fulfilling, a life that is filled with, love and support. It's not just about getting a new car. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. We can all absolutely ask for those things, but we're trying to go, what I'm trying to do is show you all how we can go a little bit deeper. Okay. Hi, Skeleton Crew. I don't know how to comment. So hi, Susan. Okay. So what we've been this journey, we have had ask, prayer, we have had meditation, listening, and now we're doing action, right? This doesn't mean that January 1st, 2021, you're going to have everything you want, right? And that's not what this is about. And I've been really stressing that. This is about creating a life. This is about creating a life. This isn't about creating one thing or creating one thing one time. This is about creating a life, but also understanding what it means to manifest, and that's at your disposal all the time. This isn't something that we do one time and that's it. It's at your disposal all the time. Okay. And so the techniques we're working on, we'll continue to work on in the new year. But today is action. So if you missed them, go back on YouTube. I also post on Instagram so you can follow and catch up. But it's okay if you missed it. You can jump in now as well. So action, last week we talked about clearing space, right? We talked about cleaning the house, cleaning, and not just cleaning, but clearing clutter, the car, the office, everything. So we're not hoarding and we're not holding on to things that we no longer need, because objects do hold energy and they hold memory, and that memory and energy can hold us back for sure. Not just one object, right? But if we live in a home or we work in an office that carries this clutter, it's absolutely going to affect us. That's why feng shui exists, right? There's absolutely power in that. So what we want to make sure we're doing is we are not only clearing the space, but that's going to help us to see things clearer. That's going to help us to hear things, to feel things. It helps us across the board. And that's the beauty of this manifestation that we're talking about. Is this isn't a one-time thing. This is something that we will utilize all the time in our life. Okay. And it also means a lot to me because I have been one of those people prior to the last, say, 4-5 years of my life where I was seeking manifestation. I was seeking, like, how does this work? And how come there's so many books? And well, there's so many books because it isn't that simple. And there's so much involved, and it's all doable, but it's a lifestyle change. It's a lifestyle change. It's not just abundance overnight. And the beautiful thing is with that lifestyle change is you learn about you learn about who you are, you learn about who you are, why you are, what it is that you want to be and do, how your life will be more fulfilling. It's not just this simple, quick fix, right? So action for this week. We've already got a little bit more specific in our prayer and our ask. So for those of you that have been following, we went back last week, we pulled out our prayer, our ask, and we got more specific with it. All right. And then we're cleaning out the clutter, right? This one, this is gonna be fun. we're going to cut some ties, okay? But I want to talk about what that looks like and means when we cut ties. We are not calling everyone and saying, I'm not going to be friends with you anymore, or you did this, or I'm breaking up. We're not doing that. I actually don't even want there to be a verbal exchange unless that's something that was already going to happen, unless that was something that needed to happen, unless you were already on that road, okay? And the reason why I'm stressing I don't want this verbal exchange is because it's false, right? Sometimes if it's not coming from here, we're just spouting out words, and that other person, no matter how unconscious they are, they can feel it, right? Like, how many of you have been in a relationship with a partner and you've tried to break up and you try to get out, and you're not really feeling it, like meaning you know you need to leave the relationship, but you still have feelings and you don't really want to leave, but you know you have to leave because everyone's saying, what are you doing, right? And so you're like, I'm going to break up with you. And they know you're full of it. They know that you're going to come right back. They know that you don't really mean that. Now, when that starts to come from the gut, that is different. And that's a feeling. And that's a feeling that, again, anyone, even if they're unconscious, will feel. So we want to make sure that when we cut ties, we're coming from the gut. We want to make sure when we cut ties, we're doing something that feels right and it feels like the right time. So we're not forcing and pushing cutting ties. Even if you're in a bad relationship, whatever that is, work, partner, and you know you got to get out, timing is important, you know, and we want to learn the lessons so that we don't have to go back and do it again, right? So be patient with that timing and wait for that gut to tell you I'm ready, because when the gut says it's ready, it's so easy to not look back. It's so easy to, you know, when that person comes back for more, you're just like, I am so done. Like it's like I've feel nothing. And that's what we want. We want that neutral space to exist with whatever this breakup is. And for those of you that are looking to leave a job, you got to come to that neutral space, right? And so if you know that you're trying to cut ties with your job, but obviously we have to be careful, right? You know that you can't just quit because we don't have anything in the back end or whatever that is. Know that becoming neutral and allowing yourself to be present, and we'll talk about that a little bit in the next coming weeks, is going to help cut that tie. All right. So, so as we look at cutting ties, to start, so you guys don't freak out and break up with people and things that may not be ready for that, just write it out. Write out the relationships that you know they're done. Are they going to be done tomorrow? Maybe not. It could take a year. It could take 6 months, 6 weeks, 6 days. It's okay. Just write down the relationships you know that no longer serve you. And they no longer serve you because it's one-sided or they're not ready or whatever it is, right? And the cutting ties doesn't have to be mean and bad and awful. Retaining a relationship, retaining a neutral relationship is obviously the goal. But for some of us, if it's an abusive relationship, if it's a really emotionally abusive, we cut ties and we don't look back, right? We know that that's what we want to do. So for this week, I want you to think about cutting ties, write down those relationships, and just look. It'll be interesting to observe how many relationships, and for some of you, you might not have any, which is beautiful. For some of you, you might have more than you thought, and you'll be like, whoa, what is this pattern? Why do I have so many relationships that I need to cut ties with? Why do I have so many relationships that aren't good for me, right? That's why we're doing this, because you're going to notice a pattern. You're going to notice that you have created all these relationships with the same pattern, the same issue, and they all carry like a similar vibe. That's you, right? That's you creating that. So we want to work on cutting those out patiently, one at a time, not everything at once. And really allowing that intuitive sense that we work on in our meditation guide you to tell you when. And for some of you that are really tapped into your intuition already, you might feel that the relationship is, you're like, oh gosh, I'm done. Be careful. Sometimes our intuition can be a little bit ahead of us, right? And there's a few more lessons or experiences we need to have. So we'll honor that. And then we'll move forward. So we're just going to take a look at those ties. All right. If you find that you don't need to cut any ties, if you find that you don't have any relationships that are bad, then I'm going to ask you to dig a little deeper. I'm going to ask you to look at the relationships you have, all levels, siblings, children, your husband, your wife, work, everything, every friends, every relationship. I want you to look at those and I want you to really feel it out. Like, where could it use work? Where could it use help? Where do you all struggle the most in that relationship? Meaning fights start or conflict starts, or, if it's with a friend, or you're like, oh, I always avoid this conversation, or I always avoid that. Look at that. It's not about cutting the ties, but it's about how you respond to that and what you want to do with that. We just want to make sure that we aren't cutting off a part of who we are so that that other person is comfortable. We want to make sure that we're not hiding a part of who we are so that other person is comfortable, or ignoring or denying so that they're comfortable, And I feel like in a lot of relationships that exists, but that exists because it's our fault, right? We've allowed ourselves to get small so that they're comfortable. So it doesn't mean you have to break up. It doesn't mean you have to get in a fight. It doesn't mean you have to leave them. It means you have to retrain. It means you have to show them that that's no longer comfortable for you. You have to show them that you want this relationship to be a certain way. When it comes to this specific dynamic, you would like it to look a little different. You would like it to feel a little different. So for those of you that don't have relationships you need to cut ties with, that's what you're going to be looking at. Okay. You're going to be looking at how those relationships you currently have that you're happy with, making sure that you are 100% you, that you aren't hiding a part of you or diminishing a part of you so they're comfortable. Okay. Any questions about manifestation specifically? How are we doing? How is our meditation going? How is our list of asking? How is that looking? Is it changing? Is it growing? Is it morphing into something you didn't think it would morph into? That's kind of the hope, is that we start with these, specifics, a new car, a new house, a new job, a new, a partner. And the more you sit in meditation, the more you clean, the more you clear, the more you look at your ties, the more you're like, okay, I see how I keep recreating this bad relationship or this bad job. Okay, I see this. I get it, So hopefully you're getting a little more insight as to why you are at where you're at in your life, and that you aren't a victim to your life, right? Life happens for us. Life doesn't happen to us. So if life happens for us, we are grateful for everything, every moment, every painful experience that we created. That creation comes from past lives we carry in. That creation comes from, obviously, the life that we are currently living. How you react and respond to every situation is going to determine if you're going to have to repeat that experience, or if you're done with it, you learned the lesson. So being conscious, being intuitive, being aware in every situation, so you don't have to go back and learn it again, right? That's the goal. Doesn't mean you're bad if you do. I mean, my gosh, I could fill a notebook with the lessons in the last 25 years that I just repeated and repeated and repeated. And they all had different faces, some male, some female, right? And I just repeated the crap out of those lessons. And with jobs, I mean, you should have a book full. But now that you're here, now that we're learning a new approach, that book will start to get a little bit smaller, because you'll start to notice, oh, I recognize that. Okay, it doesn't mean I'm not going to be in that relationship. It means I'm going to have to show this person how I want to be treated, right? I'm going to answer a question. I've been slow on meditation. My mom moved in temporarily, so I've been distracted. I get that. I do need to focus on making myself more comfortable in relationships than making others more comfortable. Ooh, I needed to hear this. So the interesting on YouTube, the comment is, I do need to focus on making myself more comfortable in relationships than making others more comfortable. That codependency lives, right? That codependency, especially for females, it's in there. That's a hard one for sure. I struggled with that. I still, actually, I'll be super candid with my husband. There are still moments where I feel like I don't want to intimidate, or I don't want to make him uncomfortable. If I'm talking about some weird paranormal stuff, that's super weird or super out there. And this is the most open, supportive guy in the world. But sometimes I'll catch myself doing that, and I have to rein it back in and go, why for a moment were you making yourself small so that he's comfortable? Why would you do that? How is that serving anybody? And here's the interesting thing about that. What really helped me understand that was when I was told, you're not God. You're not God. You don't dictate how others feel. You don't dictate how others respond. And if you think you do, oh, shame on us, right? Shame on us for thinking we control how others react and respond, how others think or feel. And when I was told that, I was like, oh gosh, I do. I genuinely thought for a long time, like, yeah, like I can control how someone reacts and responds. No. And a lot of times their response is internal and they won't even share it with you. So you have no idea. When we allow ourselves to be big, when we allow ourselves to be who we are, when we allow ourselves to show the world, our partners, our friends, our family, who we are doing a service, not just for you, for the planet, for mankind, and for that person. That might sound crazy and extreme, but let me tell you why it's not crazy and extreme. That is not crazy and extreme because when you make yourself small, you are not allowing that person to grow. You are not allowing those people to see you and make their own choice to grow, to not grow, to see you, to not see you. You're taking that opportunity of growth away. Would you, with a baby, a child who's learning to walk, would you stop them from walking because you weren't ready or you were scared? No, don't start walking. You would repress that child from learning how to walk because you're scared? No. So think about that the next time you catch yourself being small. And that's what saved me with my relationship, these last 2 years, especially, was I caught myself and I'm like, that's not fair. So I'm going to take away his opportunity to grow and change and learn because I'm scared. And I don't even know what am I afraid of? That he's going to think I'm weird? Well, it's too late for that. We've been together 17 years. That cat's out of the bag, right? What else? That he might leave me? Maybe. Yeah. It might get too weird and he might leave. All right. I'll be okay. He'll be okay. Because we're learning and we're growing. That's the only reason why we're here anyway. It's the only reason why we're here on Earth anyway. Your only job is to learn. Right? Does all that make sense? You're welcome for the description. All right. TikTok, I thought I always attract bad people in my life. I like the way you understand that you're attracting that. So if we're attracting bad people or situations, I mean, therapy 101, right? Let's look at mom, dad, not blaming. Let's look at mom and dad. And if you've had a beautiful relationship with them, okay, is this past life? What is it? Is it a brother or sister? What is it? Meditation, intuition. That's what's going to guide you there. That's why it's so important that you have a daily practice, because to answer that question, why do I attract these people in my life? Why do I attract dark people or negative people? I mean, you can go to a million psychics and they can tell you, but if you don't change it, what good is it? If you learn that information on your own, if you in your meditation, you learn that intuition, whoa, that's powerful, because now your whole body is experiencing this aha moment. Now you can change it. That's why I never made any money as a psychic, because I don't want you all coming back to me regularly. You got to do this on your own. When you come up with these answers on your own, it's life-changing, and it's so much easier to clear it because it's already coming from inside you. The bulk of the work is done. But when it comes from the outside and someone has to tell you, which there's nothing wrong with that, because I actually learned a lot from other mediums and psychics from telling me things, right? There's nothing wrong with that, but know that it's coming from the outside. So I have to now digest it, make sense of it, understand it, and then change it. Nothing wrong with it. But if you can do it on your own, even better. Yes, it's harder, for sure. It's like I'll still go to other mediums or psychics if there's something really heavy in my life that I can't. I'm too attached. I'm too connected. It's too hard, for sure. So, all right. Are we good? I got it 1:30. For those of you on TikTok that were asking a bunch of questions, 1:30 Pacific Standard Time today. YouTube, Miriam the Medium. You can submit your questions live and I'll answer them, okay? Have your picture in your profile, ideally. Give me your full name. And then next week, we continue. We only have 2 weeks left. I think I'm going to do also a New Year's Eve, like meditation and pick a card for us. Like if anyone's going to be home. If not, I'll just do it myself. But maybe New Year's Eve, we'll do a nice little meditation. Then we'll do a fun pick a card, a couple different options for pick a card to start off the new year. Sound good? Okay. Direct message me with any questions. I'll see you all at 1:30. And then Thursday night. Oh, I'll be back Thursday night live. Don't forget. Thursday night live. TikTok, we'll do a pick a card. But we're going to do body. We're going to be looking at our bodies. We're going to have Jeremy on. We're going to do a pick a card for our body image. It's going to be an interesting, good conversation about how we view ourselves, our physical bodies. All right. Bye, guys.